Welcome to the first episode of the Your Business podcast. My name is Chris Gregg and it's great to be joined by Martin Lewis Stevenson from Pulse Group Media. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Really good. And we also have a guest expert in the studio, Steve Lloyd from Exhibition Mastery Limited. Hello, Steve.
Hello there, Chris. How you doing?
Really good. Very excited about the first episode of the podcast. And the reason you're here is because you are the exhibition skills provider for Pulse Group Media, and you're going to be helping Your Business Expo kind of help their exhibitors get the most out of being part of the exhibition. So how did you two end up working together?
Oh, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I originally started, I came to Your Business Expo with a client in the Milton Keynes and experienced the way that they actually dealt with the exhibitors and how that they worked with them and how they just really looked after them. And then during the day itself, saw how the whole thing was run. It was busy, it was great, and I was like, this is a really, really good exhibition. And it's a regional exhibition, it's a local exhibition. And I then was very, very impressed with it. I've been to quite a few exhibitions before, and a lot of them in London, and I was really impressed with just the level of care and attention to detail that it was.
So what makes a good exhibition? What were the things that kind of tick the boxes for you at Your Business Expo?
So there was a lot of communication. We got a lot of communication as an exhibitor. I also registered as a delegate on that one as well. So I got both the sides of it. And there was always excitement. There was every time there was a new exhibitor that had been booked, there was information on that. The website was easy to use. It was easy to register. On the exhibitor side, the information was really good. There was a lot of stuff provided, which meant that when you're actually then doing your own planning for your own stand, it made it easier for you. Devon was very communicative with my client as well, and so we knew exactly what was going on all of that time. So when it came to it, there were no surprises. And during the day, people were around, we were being looked after, there was checking in around, there was lots of people coming through those doors, and we were then looked after as well. There was ensuring that there were refreshments for the exhibitors to make sure that we stayed hydrated. There was easy to use and easy to see and everything was easy. I think that's pretty much where I'm getting at here. And as a visitor, as a lot of people that visited there, they were really impressed with the whole experience as well.
Fantastic. So Martin, was there something that you kind of saw as a gap in the market when you were planning how you would run Your Business Expo locally?
Definitely, Chris. As you know, we're a publisher of Business Times and Business MK, so we've got an audience that is B2B and has been around for a long, long time. And post-COVID, we thought there would be an opportunity to get back face to face. And if we can kind of unite and connect people, I suppose is our primary goal, and get them doing business together and supporting and potentially collaborating. If we get some kudos as a kind of spin-off from that and brand recognition, then it makes sense for everybody involved. And yes, we saw a gap in the market for doing something that's a little bit different, utilising skills that we picked up across the sales team over many years in sales, and thought, we want to make the exhibition an experience. So we thought about everything from kind of security, how to help people park, giving them good information, as Steve's alluded to, making sure that they were looked after on the day, food was provided, drinks, the clear information regarding kind of where seminars were taking place and what was happening, networking event prior to kind of break the ice, and also get a good footfall initially when the show doors open. So yeah, all of the above really.
Yeah, and I think the great thing is you seem to really care about people getting the most out of being part of the exhibition, which I guess is why you're working with Steve to kind of bring some best practice. And hopefully this is something we'll be able to touch on the podcast to give people some useful tips of how to make the most out of their ticket to be at an exhibition, because it is an investment. You're there for a reason, and I guess people need to understand why they're exhibiting.
Absolutely. And it's crazy how in this day and age, we think about, you're taking a stand at a small local expo, but you need to be prepared for it. And you need to kind of have a plan, even if it's a fairly kind of loose plan of what you're going to do ahead of the exhibition, what you're going to do at the exhibition, and what you're going to do post-exhibition. And what I'm really conscious of is, as a business, we are selling them the exhibition stand and the networking opportunity. And although I've got an awful lot of experience in sales and marketing, having done many, many exhibitions up and down the country in the NEC and Excel, and even in Hanover in Germany and other exhibitions in previous employment, I didn't want to be the person that then says, oh, by the way, I think you should be doing this. I think you should be doing that. And when Steve and I had a conversation and he told me about his events experience and gave us some really positive feedback on our shows, I could see an opportunity for us to work together independently and offer our exhibitors Steve's services, for no commercial benefit of ours, merely to make sure that those exhibitors got the return on investment, had the best possible show, the best possible experience, and ultimately put themselves in the best possible light with the visitors and the other exhibitors. And we're all about facilitating and connecting businesses in print, digitally, and face to face. So for me, it's a kind of a natural to work with a professional like Steve and give everybody an opportunity to get the best out of the show.
Yeah, and I guess it's like any business. You want your customers to have a good experience so that they come back and they refer you to other people, and the business grows that way. So it makes absolute sense. So I think we need to go through a few top tips and things that are common pitfalls when you go to an exhibition that go wrong. In your experience, Steve, what are the main kind of things that can be pitfalls that people should watch out for in an exhibition?
When they are exhibiting, they tend to lose focus in terms of what's happening there. They'll book the exhibition, and that's as far as they get with the preparation, and then they'll just turn up. So when they then turn up, they don't really think about what they're doing in terms of their stand. They haven't really promoted it. They haven't really planned it out. And that's really the biggest pitfall. They then stay on the stand and then wonder why they're not busy.
Do you think it's because people are so busy doing their day-to-day business, firefighting and kind of keeping things going, that the exhibition is something they don't put that much thought into, because they think, oh, we'll just rock up, do what we do, it'll be fine? They don't spend the same amount of time thinking about that as some of the other aspects of their business? Yeah,
there's an expectation from an exhibitor's point of view that, well, I'm going to an event, so therefore the event must roll out the red carpet and just furnish me with everyone. I use an analogy of a story, is that if you sell something and you go to like a shopping centre, if you were gifted a shopping centre for two of the busiest days or one of the busiest days of the year, and all you had to pay was a certain amount of time, would you just rock up and would you just put your stuff out, sit there and actually play on your phone? No, you wouldn't. You'd actually prepare for it. You'd really think about it. So there is this kind of expectation and this lack of understanding around actually what the opportunity really is. But you've got 100 other exhibitors in the room. You've got I don't know what the footfall figures are, but I know it's busy, and there's a lot of them that are coming through, and each one of these is an opportunity to then develop a relationship, start a conversation, and start understanding what it is you're doing. But there's a lot of that responsibility that goes on the exhibitor as well.
What are the questions you should ask yourself before an exhibition to help you kind of really focus and get some clarity on what you're going to be doing at the exhibition?
So the key ones is, what is my theme and focus? What am I looking to actually get out of this? What is my objective? From that's when your focus and your key theme comes in, and then it's, how can I promote it? If this is my pop-up shop, how am I going to take responsibility for this, and how am I going to make this area of this business shopping centre the busiest and most productive it can be for me? How am I going to bring people to me? So it's looking at those, if, what, when, how, why, those kind of questions, and getting open answers as to like what you're trying to do. The key thing is why you're doing it.
Do you find this a lot, Martin, that you put on your exhibition, you walk around, you see some people doing it really well, and some people that you think, oh, this is such a wasted opportunity, guys?
Yes, and what's really frustrating, Chris, is as a marketing business, we provide collateral to all our exhibitors, such as email signatures, collateral for social media posts, clips of video, and what everybody should be doing is inviting their current clients, also their prospects. If you think about it, an exhibition's a really great neutral territory where you can have conversations. People don't feel particularly committed or threatened or pressured. And it's an opportunity to kind of get to know the people and get to know the ethics and the full service or products that a company supplies and provides. And as an exhibition host, we provide all this collateral when people register with us. And to be honest with you, it's kind of frustrating when you don't see them using it, you don't see them inviting. And if they invite their clients and prospects and someone else does the same thing, then effectively it's like something going viral on social media. The more people at the show, the more diverse those people are at the show. And ultimately, people go away with new suppliers. They can get sales leads. They can actually build relationships and collaborate with other businesses they might have initially thought were a competitor. But if you've got a gap in your portfolio of something that someone's looking for, then why not offer it via another business and collaborate with the local business community? That's what it's all about for us.
And I think you mentioned social media. It's also great to share on your socials that you're going to be there, share some posts while you're at the show, tag the people that you've met and the connections that you've met on your LinkedIn afterwards, and really make the most of the opportunity.
And that's why we've invested in our Your Business Expo app. What that gives people on the day is a full list of all the exhibitors' contact details and bios. There's a social opportunity there, so people can connect with each other. You can swap QR codes and exchange details. All the event essential information, things like Wi-Fi codes, first aid, where to get food, etc., we put on the app as well. And we developed this so that each expo has its own kind of community, and it's prolonged. The exhibition is not just for the day. There is a build up to it. We're going to be launching Milton Keynes Expo app around about the 4th, 5th of May. So everybody's got a full month on it prior to the show, but also we'll leave it running for the month after the show.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the day, it's about making the connections, deciding who you want to meet and talk with. And the other thing with the app is you can actually download all this information afterwards, so you can make notes in the app. There's lots of things that you can do with it, and you can continue the conversation.
It was actually one of the reasons, Chris, why I really wanted to get involved in this, because apps aren't. A lot of companies have apps. A lot of the bigger exhibitions in London have apps. They don't necessarily have the same kind of element on here, and from the basis and from where it comes from in terms of this ensuring there's connection, it means that for a regional expo, you've got somewhere where you can actually scan and keep notes and then download it and go straight into CRM ready for your follow-up. But it also, for the delegate side and for the visitation side, you're able to then do that. Showing that kind of commitment and actually making that work is a real commitment. And that was the thing that was like really kind of, okay, right, these guys are proper serious. This is a really, there's a big plan here in terms of this, in terms of how this works, and in terms of their infrastructure. And I'm like, that's great, because you can use it to then really build on what the exhibitor experience is. It
does frustrate me sometimes when you go to networking events or exhibitions and you've made a great connection with somebody, you've got sidetracked, forgot to get their contact details, and then you can't actually find their email address because you don't get sent a list of delegates. And that's the difference with the app. You can actually contact people directly through that after this.
Oh, exactly. It's a really great app for that. And actually, if you're at an exhibition and say that scenario happens, you are reliant on that company then following up and remembering what the conversation was about in order to do it. And the key is in the follow-up. The success is in the follow-up on there, and not many people will do. They forget, life gets in the way, that kind of stuff. But actually, this gives a really good opportunity to be able to then just go in, even with the app, even without doing anything else, just going into the app and seeing who you spoke with and who you scanned.
And I think this also brings us on to lead capturing, because one of the most important things I think on your exhibition stand is having some kind of mechanic where you can capture those details, whether it's business cards in a little fish bowl or some kind of is that a big no-no? It's a bit twee, isn't it?
It's a little bit old hat these days, and you've got to remember things like regulation, GDPR, that kind of stuff around. One of my to answer the question about contact capture, the app does solve that problem. It's a problem that's actually been solved. But having some kind of mechanism that you're actually then be able to do it, even going as old school as a dedicated notebook and a pen to then write down people's details and actually take their business cards, so you attach notes to it. People will remember the experience. You want to give them an experience. You want to be memorable. Sometimes that's not about, in fact, most of the time, it's not about being gimmicky. It's about being serious. And if you're taking accurate notes, and when you follow up, you can then relate that back, that that is that memorable hook. It's like they listened, they actually did it, and there's a deep, like, subconscious element that actually makes them go, actually, this is a good company to work for or talk with.
See, what I found before is I've done competitions, prize draws and things, and captured lots of contact details, but then forgotten the conversations I've had with those people and not been able to do specific follow-ups because everyone's just on this massive spreadsheet and you just can't remember who was who.
Yeah, you need to make notes. You need to be, we're dealing with people. This is a face-to-face thing here. We have conversations, we make notes on things, so we can then go and relate back to what we're then talking about. And that brings them back into the moment. It extends, as Martin said, it extends that exhibition experience, and the fact that as an exhibitor, you're showing that you care about that visitor, as opposed to you just turned up and you give me a business card. Going back to your networking analogy as well, that's, hey, have a business card. It's like the old LinkedIn connect and pitch. So, and it just doesn't work. It's not optimal.
Absolutely. Are there any other pitfalls that people can make with their exhibition stands and what they do at the exhibition? Yeah,
gimmicks and how they capture the business cards. Win a bottle of champagne in a fishbowl. Oh. Unless you're a champagne provider or you sell fish bowls, whatever it is you do to do something, it needs to be relevant. Have a story about that from Your Business Expo, funnily enough. One of my clients that I spoke with, I saw, oh, you won a bottle of champagne. He went, yeah, I actually won it at Your Business Expo. I said, oh, fantastic, who'd you win it off? He went, can't actually remember. And it was a really good bottle of champagne. So
that obviously worked, didn't it? And is it de rigueur to have a little bowl of celebrations on your stand for everybody to just nick on the way past?
My preference is mints. In terms of it in individual packs, because chocolate can or gummy.
Yeah.
Mints is a good freshener, and you can use that as an attractor if you're going to have sweets. You don't have to. My thoughts on giveaways is they need to be bespoke to the company, and by that I don't just mean any kind of pen or anything.
It's always
like
a pen, or some kind of stress ball, but they just end up in the bag, and you get home and you just have this pile of pens, and you just think, oh, that'll be handy, and they never last very long. They're always very cheap ones that run out after about 5 minutes.
Well, my son did most of his A-level studies on pens that I got from various different exhibitions.
Really? So, what did he discover?
And what did he discover? Well, he was writing his A-levels up.
Oh, he was using the pen to write.
Literally.
I thought this was his thesis.
No, it wasn't that. It was his A-levels. He was doing all of his A-levels exams, and he would come to me and say, Dad, have you got a pen? And I'd go to the exhibition box, and I'd say, try that one, son. So,
and he'd be back the next day. It's run out already. Yeah.
Some of them are very good. So
fantastic. Okay, so Martin, what... from your side, what would you say is the most challenging thing about putting on a business exhibition, and what are the things that you've learned from your experience of running Your Business Expo over the last number of months?
I think the thing is that businesses, and Steve said this earlier on, is take responsibility. We can host the show, we can organise it, we can ensure that you've got the space that we promised, you can ensure that you've got the refreshments, that you know where you're going and the information's good and all the rest of it. But don't just rock up and expect us to provide all the visitors and all the leads. That's not our role. We are hosts of the exhibition, we organise it, we find the venue, we make sure that you get everything that you need for the day. But you have a responsibility to invite your clients, existing clients, and your prospects to come and have a conversation with you and all the other exhibitors. And if everybody does that, everybody has a fantastic show. And as I said earlier, we're all about building a business community. What do we get out of it? Commercially, it's a headache. Logistically, it's a headache. But what we do love is the excitement and the anticipation on the day, and then the feedback that we get to say people have had a great experience. That is what makes us feel warm and fuzzy. That's our why. And if we can connect businesses and get them doing work with each other and collaborating and supporting locally, ultimately we'll get business as a result of that, because people see we've got good business ethics and credibility, and that, people often ask us about it, and I'm smiling and laughing. People often ask us, does marketing, for example, in Business Times or Business MK work? And I'll say, did you come to our business exhibition? And they'll say, yeah, we did. Well, we marketed it through that as well. So, it gives us a chance to show our expertise from a marketing perspective. And as I say, if we can ensure that everybody leaves that room having had a good experience, then ultimately that's what we're all about. And to ensure that people do that, that's why we're now kind of collaborating with Steve. As I say, this is not a commercial relationship. We just wanted to signpost people that if you need help, if you thought of it, if you've not got time, then get an expert in, get some pointers, get some coaching, and then get the best possible situation and return on investment from deciding to exhibit with us. And ultimately, if we get all the exhibitors on the top of their game, it means that the visitors also have a fantastic experience. And that's what it's all about for us.
Absolutely. And I think you do notice when you go to a show that everybody's really engaged, and you walk around, everyone's smiling, everyone's friendly, people are stood in front of the tables and they're talking to you as you come past, and there's also, as you say, that networking between the different stallholders. So people aren't just sitting there talking to visitors, they're interacting with the 100 other people in the room.
Yeah, it's business, but we also want it to be fun. We want it to be a positive experience. And again, we've had comments and feedback where people have said, had a fantastic day. I recall last year at the Your Business Expo Milton Keynes, we had one of the exhibitors say, can we provide some alcohol? And I was like, oh, I need to speak to the venue, whether this is kind of possible or not. They maybe have some issues with that. And they did some cocktails and mocktails. And it was a beautiful sunny day last time in June. And there were people sat on the grass outside that we'd provided some tables and chairs as a breakout area. And it had this really nice summer vibe where there was people there doing business, sitting outside, chatting over a coffee or a mocktail cocktail. And everybody just said what a pleasurable experience it was. And, that's what it's all about. There's enough stress and pressure with work. We've all got targets and things to do. So if we can do our work and enjoy it, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do think the choice of venue, it makes a big difference. And the Ridgeway Centre is lovely. Sywell Aerodrome, also amazing. And I think you just got to pick somewhere that people are going to feel comfortable and relaxed and have that great experience.
It's, you asked me earlier what was the biggest challenge regarding putting expos on, and I can tell you hand on heart, it's venue. Because as Steve's mentioned, we've been successful in what we've done, and we've done it for the right reasons. We've built quite a kind of infrastructure now, and we try to improve wherever possible on every single show that we do. But it's almost become kind of a victim of its own success in the fact that, for example, Bedford. Last year we did Bedford in November and we sold it out. We weren't sure what kind of reaction we'd get in Bedford. Bedford's a big county. As we all know, Bedford and Luton are very kind of separate, and it was a challenge. So we did it, sold out, had a great footfall, but it was obvious that we needed a bigger venue. And that's been the biggest challenge for us now, is to find a bigger venue to have a more successful show in Bedford. And as much as you've pointed out that kind of Sywell is a fantastic, I love Sywell. I love the Art Deco element of it. I love the history of the place. I love its quirkiness. But even a venue like that creates its own challenges. You've got lots of different entrances and exits. You've got security issues because they do have multi-million-pound Spitfires stored on site, and they don't want people just kind of going off on a tangent, walking everywhere. And it's an older site, and the kind of the Wi-Fi infrastructure is kind of not possibly as good as it could be, whereas the Ridgeway Centre's got a great Wi-Fi infrastructure. So every venue we do has its kind of real strong elements and then elements of kind of being more of a challenge. For example, Bedford Heights last year was a beautiful venue. We were a little bit restricted with car parking because we didn't realise how successful it was going to be. But you know what? I'll take those issues any time, because if it's parking that's an issue or it's too busy, those are the kind of challenges. Well, it means we did our job right. If you're struggling to park or get a ticket and get there, or you can't get an exhibition stand because we've sold out, then that means we've done all the right things. And I'll apologise now for that.
So what are your sort of future plans? Where are things going with the exhibitions? Where do you see kind of the world of exhibitions kind of moving towards?
Well, the addition of our app is a great thing. You know, we started this at Sywell. We only had a 2-week window before the show to kind of launch it. Again, admittedly, the Wi-Fi infrastructure is not fantastic at Sywell. We've got a much better opportunity now at Milton Keynes coming up in a few weeks, and I think the app will get kind of further tested there and developed, and ultimately what we do want to get to a point of is what we call Your Business Community. So the next step on from the expos is where we have a year-round business community that can interact digitally, on top of everything else that we're doing in print and face-to-face. So the idea being is that we'll just continue to develop what we're doing with it from a business community perspective to give better value and more opportunities to businesses across beds, books and Northants.
And Steve, you're going to be working closely with Martin and the team to help exhibitors get the most out of their opportunity.
Absolutely.
What kind of activities have you got planned for that?
So we've obviously got this conversation going on here. We're in the process of writing some helpful downloadable material in terms of when people then sign up. We're also looking at doing over the course and on the run-ups to each of the events, doing something where the exhibitors have got access to some of the most basic information, really kind of reinforcing some of the foundations and the fundamentals from it as well. There's other bits of networking, there's lots of other stuff. I've got various different tools as well that's available in terms of being able to help for people, and of course they can then hire me, blatant sales plug here, if they actually then need to then make sure that they are really doing the very best that they can to get the best out of the expo. The expo itself is really great. The structure is very solid, and it's actually now down to the exhibitions. Where you asked the question to Martin about where exhibitions are going, actually across the pond there is this sort of slight shift now, as I'm seeing from other exhibition and experiential people reporting from some of the bigger shows over there, where they're looking at slightly more intimate, less of the larger megaplexes type things, and actually then going into that kind of area. So here as well, I think where it can go, the better the exhibitions that we have in Milton Keynes and the surrounding area, the more likely we're going to have more. Now, the reason why that's good is because exhibitions bring in outside visitors and they see the area of what it can then offer. They also see the businesses that they can do that they can then use. Now, if all of those businesses are doing really well, they're far more likely to win business at a far faster rate than if they're not. And that's what I'm really excited about, is the fact that there is the app, the community, there are lots of other stuff around. There is this potential of actually growing this community, and there's other opportunities to then bring in other business and other investment into the areas too.
Very exciting. So before you go, let's have another top tip for your exhibition stand. I think one of the challenges you have sometimes at exhibitions is with choosing the right people to be on the exhibition stand, because it's so important, that connection that people make with your team on your stand.
Yes. Yes. So if we're looking at a top tip around your people, then the top tip is sort of like in a number of tiers, really. One is choose the right person in the first place. That isn't necessarily, as a small business, the business owner or the technical expert, because you love what you do and you actually get bogged down in that detail, which is not what you really want at an expo. What you want at an expo is for someone to be excited about what you do and excited about the prospect of finding out more. So it's think about who it is that you are actually looking to do, and secondly is brief them. I mean, really brief them. Give them an understanding of what you expect them to do, expectations, objectives, and let them do it.
Because that would be pretty awful if somebody asked them a question and they clearly didn't know the answer, or they were just, making it up. And they could tell that they're not really somebody that really understands the business. But at the same time, you don't want them going into minute detail the way that a business owner would. It's about getting those leads and starting the conversation.
Absolutely. You need people that are outgoing, that have got the charisma, that can actually then, as people walk past, say hello, ask open questions, that they are finding out why they're there, be genuinely interested in why people are at the expo in the first place. Because if it's not you, that you can help. You're surrounded by 100 other exhibitors, and if you've done your homework, there's a tip here. If you've done your homework, you'll know who else is there, so you can say, Chris, thanks very much. Well, actually, no, that's not us. But go and have a chat with these people over there, because they're doing something of what you like. Not 100% sure, but I've seen that, and that actually looks interesting. There's a karma thing that happens with that, and actually what goes around does go around, because you don't have people on your stand for too long, but you then also realise, that was pleasant. That was great. I wasn't sold to. I was dealt with efficiently. It was a pleasant interaction, and that is exactly what you want on each and every visitor, is that you sort them out however how they need to be.
It's very interesting, because when I do wedding shows in my other business, there's a lot of kind of passing leads backwards and forwards. So someone comes to me for a disco and they're looking for something in a barn, and they haven't found the venue, I can point them towards other exhibitors, or I could say, have you found a photographer yet? He's really good, and vice versa. People are sending them to me when they've asked them about particular venues. And I think you can do the same thing in any business. Just get to know your businesses in the same kind of sphere as you, where you're going to have common customers,
and genuinely care about the outcomes that you're trying to do for those customers, because it's not a case of doing everything for a commercial payback. Martin and I, we don't have a commercial agreement between us. We are very excited to work together, but there isn't, as you said, there's no kickback. If any of the exhibitors work with me, that's fantastic. What I know is that they'll have a better exhibition, they'll get that better outcome. What I also know that means is that the Your Business Expo is also going to be improved. And with more people doing the right thing, or the right things better, a rising tide raises all ships. Everyone will start looking around going, wow, okay, that's new. Oh, I need to think about that, because they're busier than me. They're better than they've got lots of customers. They've got people there actually talking, and I'm a little bit jealous. What am I missing out on here? So the more people do it, it becomes a standard. And when you raise that standard, the expo generally, the standard of outputs and outcomes for the exhibitors also raise. It become a go-to thing. It won't be a case of chasing sales. People will be like, I want to stand because I know it works well, and that breeds more exhibitions and more opportunities of exhibiting, and more opportunities for developing community stuff as well.
Yeah, and I guess we're coming back to making sure there's enough space for everybody when it becomes that successful, to make sure that the venue can cope with the demand. So we're back to you again, Martin. Balls in your court on that. So I think we've covered a lot of ground here, and I appreciate your time here, Steve. And I think that your expertise is going to make a big difference to a lot of the exhibitors at Your Business Expo. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. Martin, what have we got for future podcasts planned? Why should people subscribe?
Because we want
I'll put you on the spot here.
You certainly did. Yeah, we want to continue building this ecosystem, and we're trying to help our clients wherever possible. And ultimately, as Steve's just said, it's not all about commercial gain. It's about genuinely helping each other. And I think if you put that at the forefront of what you're trying to do as a business, the commercial element will come. And Kerry and I are very patient. We're a small, effectively family business. We're professional at what we do, but as Steve's already mentioned, outcome is everything to us. If we can get a client working with us and they get the results and they become an advocate, then that's the best solution for us. Ultimately, if we can make a living connecting people and getting them business, that's a real nice ethical way to make a living, and that's what we're all about. And final parting shot from myself regarding exhibiting is use the collateral that we give you. Do the marketing, invite your clients, invite your prospects, get them there. Everybody will have a better show. Don't just rely on us doing the marketing. Yes, we're very good at it, but please do your part.
Be amazed at the difference if all of the exhibitors just invited their existing clients, how much new business would end up going, because clients will come in and go, I didn't know you did that. That's great. Wow, great to see you. It's just, it's a very, very quick win for everyone.
And also, just to add to what Steve said, it's all about relationships. And the thing is, you might have an existing client, and when was the last time you actually saw them face to face? what a great place is to come and say hello and have a walk around, and who knows who you meet, what you'll find, whether you'll find a new supplier and a solution to a problem you've got, or you bump into somebody you've not seen for 10 years. I can't think of a better day out of the office, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please do like, subscribe and share it with your business contacts and your colleagues. And we will see you at the next Your Business Expo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.